Let's talk interest rates. I mean, Prue and I are probably lucky enough not to have a mortgage anymore. I'm not sure about you, Caroline, but I'm really fearful, Prue, of the next 4, 5, 6 months when a lot of those people who were on fixed interest rates as low as, 1.8, 1.9%, and those fixed rates come off and suddenly, they've got to pay the full variable rate, although most of them have had a buffer built in. Are you, like me, fearful that we are going to see a lot of these poor youngsters who bought houses at the top of the property market might get in a position where the house is worth less than what they actually owe on it?
Yes, definitely, Steve. I think it's already happening. But, the banks are culpable here too. We've got the RBA who was assuring young people or any borrowers that there were not going to be any hikes. We've all enjoyed amazing interest rates. I remember when I was paying 18%, so 3% or under is pretty amazing.
You and me both.
Exactly.
And me both.
But, the banks should never have really been ready to, lend that kind of dough to people who clearly weren't factoring in this risk that there could be an increase. And so I think, the greedy banks, yet again, they're not passing on to savers, people who have, not got this mortgage issue, the interest rate hikes, and, they're slugging everyone again. So I feel very sorry for people, and I think a lot of people are going to lose their houses, and then a lot of opportunist investors are going to do very well out of these cheaper deals.
Caroline, give us a younger person's perspective on this, and obviously housing in Perth is not cheap. It's not as expensive as Sydney or Melbourne, but it's not cheap. Are you fearful that some of your younger colleagues might have to default on their mortgages?
Well, it is something that is going to be an issue. And the thing that no one ever talks about here is the role of APRA. And APRA is really important here because you know that there was a 3% buffer, that there got reduced to 2.5% buffer. Well, when you add up the interest rate rises that we've had over the last 9 months, they're now over that 2.5% and 3% buffer. So, it's the central bank, it's the actual banks, and it's APRA. There's shared responsibility there. Look, I think it is going to be a real issue for young people. It's already hard enough to get into the housing market as it is. While you guys had the 17 and 18% interest rates back in the late 80s and early 90s, that was at a time when housing prices were maybe only 3 or 4 times the average income, where now they're obviously a lot higher. So, it is very difficult for our generation. It'll be interesting to see how they start to peg back on their discretionary spending and those other things which they've been so used to doing because they've never really had to peg back before.
There you go, Prue, a Gen Xer having a slap at the boomers. Why does that surprise us, eh?
Of course, it's par for the course.